Hello, welcome back to my video, and today I'm going to be doing a tier list of every single Marvel movie or MCU movie ever made. Before I even start this video, I just want to say this video took an extremely long time to make. I spent like a week just rewatching all the movies and scoring them, just so I can refresh my opinion on this, and so I can make the ultimate tier list. So yeah, please leave, I really hope you guys leave a like, because I spent so much effort on this. I don't really like asking for likes, like, at the beginning of my videos, but please I spent so long on this, so, yeah. So we're gonna go in release orders from when they came out, kind of make them like that. So the first one, I know it's over here, I gotta scroll. Alright, the first one I ever made is Iron Man, and right off the bat, I'm going to say Iron Man is a B tier. I'm going to give Iron Man a B tier. I have a lot of like B's on this list, and it was kind of hard because I have a lot of like 7 rankings, and some 7s might be in A, some 7s might be in B. So Iron Man 1 is going to go in B. So Iron Man 1, I think it's a pretty good start to the MCU. Like, I think it has a good middle section. Its ending's kind of bad. Like, its beginning's alright, but I think its middle is just good. Yeah, I like the characters. When I first went into this, I really hated all the Marvel movies, or not Marvel movies, all the Iron Man movies except for the third one. And, like, I thought this movie was extremely overrated, but I've grown to like it, and yeah, I must say, I do like this movie now. From next, we have Hulk. Hulk has gotta go in D tier. I hate this movie. I hate this movie so much. It's my least favorite Marvel movie ever, and I will never, if I ever do like a rewatch of all the movies, unless it's for a video, then I'm not watching Hulk again. There's a couple of movies I might not watch again, but I think most of them even if I didn't really like them, like even if they have like a 5 or a 5.5, I'd probably still rewatch them. But, yeah, Hulk, it's kind of pointless too. I mean, the whole, like, the Ross guy is important in the rest of the MCU, kind of. But everyone else, I mean, Hulk, it's like, this movie has, like, no purpose. Like, I feel like Hulk just feels completely different in this movie than he does in the future. I do like the part about him trying to not have the Hulk stuff anymore. Also, this movie is a pretty bad Stan Lee cameo. But yeah, I don't like this movie. I mean, it was the beginning. So yeah, Iron Man 2 is gonna go, if I can drag it. Iron Man 2 is gonna go in the B. I'm gonna make a new tier, actually. Let me add this new tier. Wait, let me just, stop it. Okay, so this new tier is going to be called B+. Where's the plus? B, nope, that's not a plus. Okay. Why is there, oh, there it is. B+, and I'm going to put Iron Man 1 in B+, and then Iron Man 2 is going to go in B. Because I have a lot of trouble ranking the B. So Iron Man 2 is, a lot of people think this is like a pretty bad one. I don't think it's as bad as people say. It's not as good as the first one, but I do really like Justin Hammer. I know a lot of people hate him, but I thought he was a pretty funny villain. He's just a pathetic version of Tony Stark, which I thought was pretty funny. I also like Tony better in this movie. He's a little bit more enjoyable to watch. But the other guy, the other villain, I didn't really like the action or like the Whiplash stuff. It was kind of boring, but I didn't really mind this movie. This movie was fine. I would rewatch it if I did a rewatch. Okay, so after that comes 4-1. 4-1 is gotta go in C. It's a lot above Hulk, but it's still pretty bad. I would probably rewatch it though. But yeah, it's just kind of boring. I like the stuff with like Thor trying to fit it on Earth, but all of like the government stuff and basically and the stuff on Asgard is very boring. Loki's really bad in this movie. He doesn't get good until for the Dark World, and this movie in Avengers he's kind of bad. But yeah, I do like the stuff with like Thor in I think they were in New Mexico. I like the stuff on with him on Earth. Also, I think a lot of people don't like the like side characters. I don't really mind them. Like his like friends. I didn't really mind his friends, but yeah, this movie's alright. Alright, next up is Captain America, the first event. Which one's the first event? This one's the first Avenger, okay. Is gonna go in the A tier. This is the only MCU movie, I think. Yeah, this is the only MCU movie that I've rewatched, besides doing it. So I did a Marvel Universe, binge before, where I watched all the movies except for, 2 of them. I didn't watch, Ant-Man, because I already seen it, and, I didn't watch Hulk, because I didn't want to watch it. It wasn't on Disney Plus. But, this movie, I rewatched it, when I wasn't doing a binge, because I just liked it so much. I really like this movie. The first half, the 3/4 first half is amazing. I really love the stuff with, him coming Captain America and his, character arc, kind of. I love the scene where he, knocks down the flagpole, kind of, and then he, sits on the back of the Jeep. That's, one of my favorite scenes, ever. But, yeah, I just really like this movie, except I don't really like the endings. I really don't like the ending of, all the stuff with, the Red Skull. I don't like Captain America fight scenes. They're just fight karate against people, just, kind of punching each other. And literally, the Red Skull is just Captain America, but evil. So that made it really not interesting. But everything else, I would say I like. Alright, so that is the last one until Avengers, which is... Where's Avengers? Oh, I see it. Wait. Avengers is going to get a B+. I would say I don't know if I like it as much as Iron Man. But something I noticed about this movie and Age of Ultron is these movies have no plot. Their plot is just there's a bad guy, and then they just do a bunch of random mission stuff to stop the bad guy. I feel like Loki kind of just leaves for half the movie, and then he comes back at the end, and he's like, "Oh, by the way, I'm still here." But yeah, this movie was also kind of fun. There was some fun stuff in it. But sometimes it was boring. Sometimes it was kind of lame, and I think I hate the costumes too. Everyone in this movie has a terrible costume except for Iron Man and Hulk, and maybe Hawkeye, because I don't know if his costume even changes. But Captain America's costume sucks. I don't even remember what Black Widow wore. I think he was alright. But Thor's costume is terrible. Yeah, I don't know. This movie just has a weird feel to it that I don't like, but I still like it. Alright, so on to Phase 2. Starts off with Iron Man 3. Iron Man 3 is going in the... What did I just do? Iron Man 3 is going in A tier. Iron Man 3 was I really loved this movie when I watched it for the first time. I didn't love it, but it's so much fun. As story-wise, I think Iron Man 1's better, but just as enjoyment-wise, which I kind of base these movies off of, is did I enjoy it? Because that's the most important thing when I watch a movie. If I liked watching it, then I'll give it a high score. And I really liked watching this. I love how when he doesn't have his suit, he has to be clever, and he sneaks into the compound using builds a gun and stuff. And then when he does get his suit, he gets he gets a thruster, and then he gets a piece of his foot, and then he gets a hand, and he uses half of his suit almost. But yeah, also I would say the villain is kind of weak. That's the biggest problem, is the villain's pretty weak. But yeah, most of this movie is pretty good. So yeah. Alright, what goes for the Dark World? Okay, this is my massive hot take. on the Marvel movies is I actually kind of like this movie. I'm going to give this movie a B tier. It's above Iron Man. Let me rank these movies like next to each other too. Captain America is better than that. Iron Man is probably better. Okay, yeah. I actually kind of like this movie. I don't like when this movie started. The first couple scenes, I was like, okay, I'm starting to like this movie, but it gets bad. I remember it getting so bad, and it goes to Earth, and I'm like, okay, yeah, this is why the movie's terrible because of Earth. And then like the Earth stuff happens, and it's boring. But then they kind of don't really do much Earth. Like this actually takes place on Asgard, on like the first movie, which is like completely on Earth, and I like how the Asgard isn't like this beautiful wonderland like it was in the last movie. It feels like more like an actual place this time, which I love, and I feel like Thor has a lot more of a character in this movie. But yeah, overall, I actually like this movie. It was pretty fun, but I don't know. It was kind of boring sometimes, but that's all I had to say about it. And the ending's kind of boring, but it's not like bad. It's just a little boring. After Thor: The Dark World comes Captain America, the second one. I'm gonna give this movie not a B tier, C tier. It's below 4-1. I'll put it above 4-1. Yeah, I actually have it a lot above 4-1, but I didn't like this movie. This is like the one I don't remember this one at all. But I heard really good things about it, so I was like, okay, I'll like it. But I watched it, and I was like, no, this is bad. I think some stuff is fun, like the computer that's like a Nazi. That was pretty weird, but that was also kind of cool. But then like the government stuff, like once again, I don't like it, and like the Hydra stuff, I don't like it. The stuff with Bucky, besides the Hydra stuff, I thought was good. I like Cap's relationship with Bucky. But this movie also introduced Sharon Carter, who's in the Falcon and Winter Soldier show, and she's terrible in that show. She's fine in this movie, but she's terrible in that show. Okay, so overall, this movie's just kind of boring. Once again, fight scenes in Captain America movies are bad and they're boring, so I didn't really like that either. But I just forgot in both of these movies, in Iron Man 2 and in the Winter, I haven't even mentioned Black Widow at all. She's fine. She was bad in Iron Man 2. She's fine in this movie. But yeah, what's next? Ooh, Guardians. Okay, I like this movie. This is one that, like, when I went into it, I was like, I don't really like this movie. I was like, this movie has a lot of high praise, but I didn't really like it. But I ended up, this is probably my number one right now. Yeah. Alright, I ended up actually really liking it. I was having a very fun time. The jokes basically all worked. The cast was good. Like, the characters were great. I like the plot. I mean, it was a little bad sometimes, but it was mostly fine because the plot wasn't really what carried the movie. It was more of the characters and their interactions. But yeah, this movie is really funny, and it started a trend in Marvel movies where they were actually funny instead of just being like quippy. I feel like there's like three different series that like use real humor, and those are probably the Guardians movies, definitely. I would say the Ant-Man movies, and then the Spider-Man movies. And if most of these movies I have pretty high, these actual series. Alright, so yeah, this movie is just pretty good. I really like this movie, and I would definitely rewatch it. Age of Ultron, another hot take. I like this movie too. I'm gonna put it below. Above Iron Man 3, below Captain America. I think this movie has a pretty good story. It's not like the most entertaining, but I did like the story a lot, even when it was kind of boring. Once again, like this movie has no plot. It's just they have to stop Ultron, and then they do a bunch of random stuff to stop him, which is kind of strange. Or what they do in the Avengers movies, but these movies I think are longer. This introduced a couple new characters. I really like Pietro. There's this one scene where this guy, this police officer, kind of shoots him almost accidentally, and then he just kind of turns around, looks at the guy, and just kind of shrugs it off. And yeah, that was a pretty funny scene. I like the scene where he tries to grab Mjolnir, and then he just collapses because he can't wield it. Yeah, a lot of good stuff in this movie. It's a little boring though. But I did like the fight scenes in this movie. And one thing I noticed is Ultron's not that great. Like, I like the character. He's fine as a character. But when you think about it, most of the times when he 1v1 someone in this movie, sorry if my screen keeps getting darker. I have to keep having to tap on it because I'm not like touching it. Oopsies. But let me put this down. What was? Oh yeah, but like every time someone 1v1s him, I feel like they kind of like they do a fine job. I mean, he's not really the threat. It's like his Ultron bots are more of the threat. Like people don't like he like dies like 3 times in this movie. Like one time by Scarlet Witch, one time by Vision, and then I feel like he gets blown up like before that. Although I do like that like party scene and then like Ultron shows up and he's like really creepy. I love that scene. That's really creepy. Ant-Man, where is Ant-Man? I really like Ant-Man. If I can find it. Oh, there it is. Okay. Ant-Man's gotta go right below Guardians of the Galaxy. I would say my favorite thing about this movie has gotta be the relationship between Scott and his daughter. That's like my favorite thing in these Ant-Man movies. I thought it was really good in this movie. It's also very good in the next Ant-Man movie, which I don't really like that much, but I love it in that movie. I honestly kind of forgot the fact that he was a criminal. Like I forgot that some part. Also, this movie kind of has a special place in my heart because this is the first MCU movie I ever saw. It's at a hotel, and that hotel had like a movie theater in it, kind of. And then this movie was playing, and I watched it, and I kind of forgot about it. And then when I did my first rewatch, I didn't rewatch this movie because I didn't think I would like it. But I rewatched it. Like I watched it again the other day, and I really like it. This movie is very fun. I would give this, if I had to say some bad things, I'm not a fan of like some of this like I don't really know how to explain. I'm not a fan of some of like the Hank Pym and his sister stuff, or not sister, daughter stuff. But I think they did a great job with showing Ant-Man's size. Like every time he shrinks, everything looked kind of cooler. You had to see stuff from like a smaller point of view, which I think was really cool. And then this movie is also very funny. After Ant-Man, that's actually the last movie in Phase 2. Phase 3 is a pretty big one. It starts off with a banger. Just kidding, I don't like this movie. Captain America Civil War. I really thought I was going to like all of the Captain America movies, and I turned out to not really like any. Where did I just put... Wait, where did I put... Oh, it's down here in B. No, it's not going in B. It's going in C. It's above these two, though. Okay, this movie is just so boring. There's no stakes, nothing... Like, there's no effect in, like, Infinity War, except for the fact that, like, Cap doesn't have a shield. Which I think if he had a shield in Infinity War, I think he would have been able to stop the 2 evil dudes in the beginning, or the girl and the boy, the 2 evil people, like the Black Order people. Anyway, that's not what we're talking about. Yeah, this movie is boring, and I don't know, it's just so stupid. Like, I hate movies where, like, the government is like, oh, you guys are dangerous, because when you try to save people still die. I hate that stuff because it's always so dumb. Like, if they didn't help in like all the other movies, then it would have been a lot worse. So you can't get mad at them for helping and not saving literally everyone. And I hate that. And like every show, movie, I always hate that. I like Black Panther. He's better in this movie than he is in his other movie. And yeah, I think that's it. This movie is just very boring. And I like the airport scene. I actually really like the airport scene. It's a great scene. And I also like the ending, like the last scene where like he's like sending Tony a voicemail, and he's like, and then it ends with him just like popping up. And I think you guys have seen it before. And then, okay, Doctor Strange, I was really not excited for this movie. I was like, yeah, I'm going to hate this movie. Because I watched this movie on a plane, and I despised it. I didn't despise it. But if I had to, I would give it like a 4 from the first time I watched it. And I think I just wasn't paying attention when I watched this. Because I really like this movie. This movie is severely underrated. It's not the best movie, but... Okay, I think it's... above Ant-Man? I'm going to say it's above No, it's below Ant-Man. Guardians of the Galaxy, Ant-Man, and Doctor Strange, I kind of all heard the place. I think Doctor Strange has a great story. I love the stuff with, like, I just think that Doctor Strange is an amazing character. I don't really like how the fight scenes are just more karate, but, like, with a bit of magic. It's like, the fight scenes are way better in Infinity War than it is in this movie. I like the characters. I'm excited to see where they go with that, like, one evil dude, or the guy turned evil at the end. It was kind of strange, but I'm just excited to see where they go. So yeah, I really like the Doctor Strange movie. Bunch of fun stuff. But yeah, what's next? Guardians 2 is... It's not that bad. Okay, I would say it's right there. This movie is just kind of boring. It has a kind of a boring plot. All the stuff is just kind of boring, but there's some pretty great jokes in there. But besides that, I don't think there's really much to say about this movie. It exists. I don't, like, in my free time, I would never watch this movie again. I'd probably only rewatch the movies. Like, I did go out of my way and watch them in the movies in A and S tier. No, I would only probably rewatch Ant-Man, Guardians of the Galaxy 1, and Doctor Strange so far. But yeah, there's really not much. What movie am I doing again? Oh yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy. There's nothing to say about this movie. Ooh, next we have Spider-Man Homecoming. Where is it? Oh yes, Oh wait, I just realized they don't even have the other Spider-Man. Okay, I'll do the other Spider-Man one, but it's not on here. Spider-Man Homecoming is my favorite MCU movie. I really, really love this movie. The humor is great, but it's like, instead of Guardians of the Galaxy being like everyone's adult, it's like kids, so I can kind of relate to it more. I'm not a teenager, but I'm near that age group. But yeah, this movie's just really funny. I love all the high school stuff. I would say this movie, like, if my biggest complaint is the stuff with Spider-Man, like, the stuff with the Vulture, that stuff's kind of boring. Like, the stuff with Spider-Man is big. So the stuff with the Vulture's kind of boring, but that's kind of only brings it down a little. But then I love the Spider-Man stuff at the beginning where he's just kind of going around helping people. I haven't really seen the other Spider-Man movies except for Spider-Man 3, but I can already confirm that this movie is much better than those movies. But yeah, I just really love this movie. It has so many great things. Yeah, this is my favorite MCU movie. Definitely, I would rewatch it. Actually, I'm probably gonna rewatch it pretty soon. Ragnarok. Where is it? I think I saw it before. Here. Okay, it's at the end. Okay, I'm gonna give Ragnarok an... Oh, I give it a 7. Okay, I think that was a little... it's gonna go an 8. It's like a very top 7. Above that, let's say it's even above Ultron. I was gonna go right there. This movie is just a ton of fun. Yeah, there's some cool Thor stuff. Loki. I didn't mention this in my Dark World, like when I talked about For the Dark World, but Loki's great in these two movies. I love, like, I don't know, he's just so amazing. I love, like, when Thor and Loki are with together. That's like my favorite part of them interacting. I love the story about, like, Loki stabbing Thor when he tried to pick up a snake, and yeah, this movie is just a ton of fun. The Hela stuff is kind of boring. That brings it down the most. But yeah, I would rewatch this movie. Yeah, this movie is pretty great. I don't really know what else to say. The action's fun. The characters are fun. Oh, I love the humor, and this movie has some great humor. I love the humor with the Grandmaster. I thought that was like some of the best stuff in the movie. But yeah, that's all I had to say. What's next? Black Panther. Right here. Let me just bring it up. It's not in B. It's in B+. Bottom of B+. This movie is just a little boring. It's fine. It has a good story. The action's fun. It's got great characters. I love Shuri. That's her name, right? She's like one of my favorite MCU characters. But yeah, like I said before, this movie is kind of boring main character. I don't really like Killmonger that much. I don't really find him compelling because he's just murdering random people. Like, it's like if he was murdering people for his cause, like he was doing it to help him get into Wakanda, I understand that. But like when he's just killing random people, and he hasn't even like has marks of the amount of people he's killed, that kind of confuses me. But I like his backstory, and I like his death, where he's kind of like talking. Oh, also this movie's ending is terrible. It has a terrible ending. Like this fight scene, the ending fight scene is so bad, and it's so bad. And Killmonger is like basically the same with it's the same with the Red Skull, where he's just the opposite of the character. His same power is just evil. What's next? Ant-Man and the Wasp. This movie is a severe disappointment. If this movie didn't come off of such a great movie, I might even put it higher, but the fact that Ant-Man is such a great movie makes this movie worse. There it goes. Actually, I think it's worse than 4. No, it's above 4. Actually, it's above. I think 4 is better than The Winter Soldier. Like, it's worse than. Okay. Yeah, this movie's boring. I think the stuff with, Scott and his daughter is better in this movie, but it's not really in it that much. The movie just kind of has some really weird stuff. It just kind of goes everywhere. The villain's bad. I guess she has a good backstory, but she's such a boring character. The other villain, Sonny Birch, is also very boring. He doesn't even have to be in the movie. He has no reason to be in this movie. There's just so much stuff they could have put in so much good stuff and then taken out so much bad stuff, and it would have been such a better movie for it. But yeah, this movie is just boring, and it has good humor sometimes. But yeah, this movie is just kind of boring. All right, next up, Infinity War comes before Ant-Man and the Wasp, but I'm just looking at my rankings currently, and Infinity War goes next. I have Infinity War after Endgame, but Infinity War is next, and I was going to say Infinity War goes at the right there. It's a great movie. It was one of my favorite movies ever made the first time I watched it, but the second time I watched it, I was just like, I kind of remembered like everything about it. Like, nothing like new. There was nothing new that like surprised me. I remember like all the scenes because there's not much flair to all of them. They're kind of easy to remember because I don't know. And the fights are okay. I like the Battle of Wakanda. And I guess the beginning of this movie is kind of bad. I like how they mixed I'm saying a bunch of bad stuff. It is an A tier. I did like it. They did a great job of mixing all these characters together. They like have every character has their own motivation, own plot. Like they're all important. So yeah, I just think they did a good job with that. The action's fun. I don't know why I said before I think I said the action was bad. The action was great. The action was a lot of fun. I think that's all I have to say about it. Next up, Captain Marvel. This is going in the D tier. It's definitely above Hulk, but it's like in between D tier and C tier. But I'm leaning towards D tier more. If there was a movie in the MCU that I personally just hate, it's this one. Cause like I hate Hulk, but everyone hates Hulk. And then some people actually like this movie. Most people would say this movie is like a 6 out of 10. I have it as a Mine says 4.5. Yeah, that's the same thing I gave 4, but this movie's worse than 4. This movie is just so boring. Like when I watched this movie on a plane, as well as Doctor Strange, I watched these 2 movies on a plane. I don't think it was the same plane ride or even the same location. But yeah, I was like, okay, maybe I just didn't like it. I didn't mind it the first time I watched it. I thought it was okay. I would give it like a 6 the first time I watched it. So I was like, okay, maybe I like it more since I don't really pay attention during the plane ride because I was kind of doing other stuff. But not paying attention to this movie makes it better because this movie is so bad and so boring. And Nick Fury's fine. Coulson's in it. I haven't even mentioned Coulson. In Phase 1, Coulson's like a pretty important character, and he's like my favorite character too. I leave so much stuff out. But This movie is just so boring. It's so bad. I don't like the main character. I don't even think the actor did a bad job. I just don't like her. She's annoying. She's not the worst. I just don't really like her that much. She doesn't really have much character. And yeah, it's just a boring movie. It's pretty bad. Okay, Endgame. I have this movie as an 8. This movie is kind of the opposite. I was gonna go right below it. It's kind of the opposite of Infinity War. It's all kind of sad. Every character still has their own plot. I can go on a full-on review about this movie, but this has got to be quick. There's so much stuff in this movie. I like the time travel stuff. Like seeing I love when Iron Man and Captain America go back in time to the Navy, not the Navy, the Army place, and Steve sees Peggy again, and Tony sees his dad, and they have a conversation. I love that stuff. That was really good. I love the last scene so much, where it's Steve dancing with Peggy. That's probably That's also one of my favorite scenes. And I love all the characterization they gave these people. What's interesting is in Infinity War, it's kind of all about the people in Phase 3. They focus a lot of the newer characters, Black Panther, Spider-Man. They don't focus and the Guardians, but Doctor Strange. They didn't really focus on them, but they're still there and important. Whereas the old people Hulk has his own plot, but he just doesn't. And then doesn't feel that important. And then this movie's all about the 6 original. I haven't mentioned Hawkeye. Hawkeye is I think he is my favorite character in the MCU. And they're making a show about him. I'm not that excited because it's about him and his daughter, which doesn't really sound that fun. It just sounds like it's going to be him teaching his daughter, and then his daughter's going to get really good at it, and he's going to be okay, you do this now, and then he's just going to stop doing his stuff. Then she's going to start doing. I feel like it's going to be extremely predictable. But it's gonna be better than the Falcon and the Winter Soldier show, because that show's garbage. That show is terrible. I'm not gonna talk about that right now. I'm not talking about that later. So yeah, this movie is good. It is sad. It's not that sad. I didn't cry any time, but it's not that sad. It's supposed to be sad, but it's not that sad. I don't even know what to say now. That's kind of all I have to say. I could go into more depth. I hate Hulk, I guess I could say. 4, I like the idea he's depressed. Everyone he knows and loves dead. Half the population's dead because of him. He just has a lot of guilt, and it makes sense why he becomes an alcoholic and fat. That stuff makes sense. I don't really. The people who say that it's annoying because he's not as cool as he is in the last movie. I don't really understand those people. It makes sense why he's like this. He has to. If you were in this situation where your family was dead and you feel it was your fault that half the population was dead, you would probably go crazy too. But I just don't think they really go anywhere with him. He's kind of pointless in the ending. I don't understand why did only Iron Man, Captain America, and Thor go after Thanos? If Hulk joined in, they could have had a good fight. They could have ended that quickly. Hulk could have threw punches with Thanos, and then who didn't have the gauntlet, and I think the gauntlet probably would have made his punches stronger. He might have also used the Power Stone there. I don't think he did, but he didn't. But I think the rematch with Hulk was so underused and so bad. He does the snap, but that's it. They had to make him do something, so they just made him do that. But yeah, if he was just if the 4 original people were just attacking Thanos, it would have been so much better, and it would have just been so much easier. Also, why didn't Ant-Man just step on him? Ant-Man was giant for if you look at the background of the battles, he's taking out Leviathans and stuff. Why didn't he just walk over to Thanos and just step on him? He steps on Cole Obsidian, who's he's bigger than Thanos, I think, the same size. So why didn't he just step on Thanos? Yeah, and then that's just okay. I don't know why I went on a. What did I just move? I moved something. I moved this movie up. Oh, I moved No, the first Avenger. Wait, no, that's okay. Wait, no, this Infinity War is above this. Okay. The last movie isn't even on here. Far From Home. This movie was a big disappointment. Like it wasn't as bad as Ant-Man and the Wasp, but I watched this movie today and I was so disappointed because I watched this movie in theaters. This and Endgame were the only movies I watched in theaters. I really liked it when I watched it in theaters. I kind of had the opposite. What I just moved. Black Panther is in the A tier. Okay. What am I? Okay. Like what was I really like this movie. I kind of flip-flopped this and Homecoming, where I didn't really like Homecoming. I really liked this, but after watching Homecoming, I was like, okay, this movie, like I really like this movie. So hopefully the Spider-Man movie's still good. And I didn't really like this movie. It had a good humor, not all good humor. I like the stuff with Flash Thompson was the best. Like that was really funny. But then I didn't really like the stuff with the teachers. Yeah, I think they were better in the first movie because they weren't as in your face as they're in this movie. But yeah, this movie's kind of boring. I'm excited for the next movie because like I always love it when like people find out who's like the people's secret identity. Like when everyone finds out, because like how is Flash gonna react to Peter, who he calls a loser, being Spider-Man, who he like admires. He admires Spider-Man. So how he's gonna feel now that he knows that the loser kid he picks on is like also his idol. And then same with like the rest of the school. Are they gonna believe that Spider-Man or Peter, like their classmate, really killed all those people? And also like well, not all those people. He only killed one dude. But also like the girl in Homecoming, that like his ex-girlfriend kind of. How is she gonna think that Peter, like her boyfriend, was also the guy who like sent her dad to jail? Yeah, just a bunch of interesting stuff, and I'm really excited. I hope they play on the idea of like people finding out that Peter, or the people finding out that stuff, and also I really hope that like the school stuff, like the people in the school, like the news channel. I really hope the news channel like has like a thing about it where they're like, is Peter Parker really who we think he is? And then it's like low budget stuff. I think that stuff is funny. Anyway, that is my complete MCU tier list. Alright, so I cut off the video there by accident. Basically, what I was just saying, if you guys want me to do this again with like the Harry Potter movies, I will do it. Or with like the Star Wars movies, because I love those both series. I might do this with the Star Wars movies, maybe like in 2 weeks. I don't love doing all these rewatches. But like I said, I might do this with Harry Potter too, where I reread the movie or the books and rewatch the movies. In front of you, there is all the like the rankings, not the rankings, but of all the movies and what I gave them out of 10. And Phase 1 had a 6 out of 10 in total, like the average. Phase 2 had a 7, and Phase 3 had a 6. I think Phase 3 had like the most split. It was a lot of good, and then there was like some very bad, but it was mostly good. I don't know. I think it would have been a 7 out of 6, but yeah, if you guys want me to do reviews of these movies like independently, because I have a lot more to say about them, as well, if you guys want me to review the WandaVision or talk about / compare WandaVision and Falcon and the Winter Soldier, because I have very different opinions on those shows, and I think it'd be fun to do a video on that. Anyway, once again, this video took a very long time to make, so I hope you guys leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Goodbye.